Someone offers to help you with something, and before you even think about it, you've already said, "No, I've got it." Even when you don't. Even when it would take you 3 times as long alone. If asking for help feels harder than just struggling through it yourself, this isn't independence. It's a rule you learned a long time ago, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where it came from. You're moving something heavy, or stuck on a problem that's been eating your whole evening, or falling behind on something with a deadline that's getting closer by the hour. Someone's right there. They'd help if you asked. You don't ask, not because you don't need it, you clearly do. But some part of you would rather be exhausted and behind than be the person who needed something from someone else. Here's what's strange about this. It's not happening to people who don't trust anyone. Most of these people have friends, partners, co-workers who would show up for them. The problem isn't a lack of people willing to help. It's that asking, even when help is right there, even when it's freely offered, feels like handing someone a piece of information you're not supposed to give away. That you can't do this alone. So if this is you, it's worth asking where that rule came from. Because you weren't born believing that needing something makes you a burden. Somewhere, you learned it. And you learned it early. Block 1. Where does it come from? For a lot of people who can't ask for help, it started in a house where asking didn't really work. Maybe there wasn't anyone reliably available. A parent who was stretched too thin, distracted, or dealing with their own crisis. So your needs became one more thing on a pile that was already too tall. Maybe asking got you a sigh, a "not right now," or the sense that you'd made someone's day a little harder just by having a need at all. So you did the only thing that made sense. You stopped asking. You figured things out. You got good, really good, at being the one who didn't need anything. That wasn't weakness. That was a smart kid solving a real problem. Needing less meant costing less. And costing less felt safer than depending on someone who might not come through. The trouble is, that solution never got updated. You built it when you had no other option. You're still running it now that you do. Block 2. The nervous system. Here's the part that isn't really about mindset. It's about biology. If asking for help used to lead to disappointment, your nervous system didn't file that away as a one-time bad experience. It filed it as data. Depending on someone is where the risk lives. So now, even when the person offering to help is completely trustworthy, even when saying yes would cost you nothing, your body still reacts to the moment of asking like it's exposure. A small flash of something like danger right before the words, "Can you help me?" would come out. Easier to swallow it and carry the weight yourself. This is why some people can know, intellectually, that asking is fine, and still feel their throat tighten every time they try to do it. It's not a thought you can talk yourself out of. It's a reflex your body built to protect you, a long time before you had the words for any of this. Block 3. The culture of independence. And the world you live in doesn't exactly correct this. It applauds it. You're taught that needing help is something to minimize, if not avoid entirely. Low maintenance? Doesn't ask for much. So independent. These get said like compliments. And if you grew up believing your needs were a burden, this culture hands you a medal for confirming it. So the habit gets reinforced from the outside too. The less you need, the more approval you get. Which means the very thing that's quietly costing you carrying everything alone, is the thing everyone around you keeps praising you for. Nobody's checking in to ask if you're drowning because you've spent years making sure it never looks like you are. And here's the part almost nobody tells you. Never asking for help doesn't make you strong. It makes you alone, even in a room full of people who care about you. Because here's what actually happens over time. The people around you stop offering, not because they stopped caring, but because you've made it clear, again and again, that you don't need it. They take you at your word. Why wouldn't they? So you end up surrounded by people who would help, if only they knew you needed it. Which means the isolation you're feeling isn't coming from other people. It's coming from a wall you built so early, so quietly, that you forgot it was there. That's the cost. Not that you're incapable, that you're carrying weight nobody even knows is on you, including, most days, yourself. So what actually helps here isn't forcing yourself to suddenly ask for everything all at once. That just triggers the same old alarm, louder. What actually shifts things is smaller than that. It's noticing the exact moment before you say, "I've got it," and pausing there for 1 second. Not to force yourself to ask, just to notice that the urge to refuse help isn't proof you don't need it. It's an old rule, firing on autopilot, protecting you from a version of asking that doesn't exist anymore. Asking for help was never a skill you were missing. It's a skill you were never given the chance to practice, which means it's not too late to build it. Just slowly, one small ask at a time, in rooms with people who actually show up. You don't owe anyone a demonstration that you can carry it all alone. You were never supposed to prove you could do it by yourself. You were only ever supposed to know you didn't have to.